You're listening to the MER-Mates podcast, the marine science research podcast.
What do the underwater forests look like?
In today's episode, we dive into the mesmerizing world of Posidonia oceanica, the lush seagrass meadows that make up the Mediterranean Sea's hidden canopy.
Our guest, a leading expert and coordinator from the University of Liège MER-Consortium, shares her extensive experience in the ecology and restoration of this vital marine habitat. We will uncover her journey as a researcher, her time at the university's Overseas Marine Station, and the fascinating science behind these underwater ecosystems.
Ready to set sail for the Mediterranean? Embark with us! Hisse! Hello everyone and welcome to another podcast episode of MER-Mates. Today we have a special guest. She studied biology and obtained her master and PhD about oceanography. Since then, she has worked in the Liège University as a senior researcher and a professor in the Department of Biology, Ecology and Evolution. Her main research is focused on the oceanography, marine ecology, marine phanerogams, and many other research lines. She's also coordinator and member of the MER-Master Joint Programme Board for the University of Liège. Our guest today is Sylvie Gobert. Welcome.
Welcome. No, not welcome. Hello. Hola.
Hello.
Good
Thank
evening.
you for coming, Sylvie. A pleasure for you to be here. I mentioned you are from Liège, and right now we are located in Plencia. So what brings you here for these days?
I am here this time to listen the very interesting report and master thesis of the different students of the cohort of this year in Master MER.
You're a very important figure in this master, and since you're the coordinator of the Liège University, which is one of the semesters we spend, and we would like to know, how were you introduced to this master? What was your first contact with it?
It's probably because in Liège we also study oceanography because we have a master in oceanography for Belgium student. This master is given in French. Okay, and another thing is that we have a marine station, and with this marine station we can study oceanography and marine ecology, and these two things are very interesting to study oceanography and then to welcome students coming from around the world to make oceanography.
You did some of the spoils, so the questions. But a question that many people might do to themselves, even when I discovered yes, I did it to myself, is how is it possible that there is marine research ongoing in Liège, since it's not that close to the sea?
Not very close. It's far off, more or less 200 kilometers, okay? But it's a story. In fact, the president of the university last century loved the ocean and decided to make a license in oceanography that corresponds to a master in oceanography today. And he decided also to build a station, okay? Because he thinks that the ocean are very important for to obtain fish, to food, for the climate, and so on.
Right, and it's hard to imagine how did that relationship between the marine station and the University of Liège happen, because the marine station is located in the Mediterranean and Liège is closer to the Northern Sea.
Yes. Firstly, he tried to build a station along the North Sea. But you know, in Belgium, we have different language, we have different area, and he asked to build a station along the North Sea, and Flemish people disagree with that. He asked to French people to do a station along French station, And French people say, okay, Belgium country is so little, you are so little people. And then we prefer to keep our station. And the Corsica island is little also, and there is a Corsican people want to be independent. And when a Belgian president arrive near a Corsican guy, okay, they decide that it's okay, and we have the permission to build a Belgium station on Corsica.
Okay, interesting story. Politics
Yeah.
behind it.
So we guess that you travel very often from Liège to Corsica.
Yeah.
Of course. So more or less, what percentage of your time would you spend?
Finally, I spent 3 months per year in Corsica because I give a lot of course in Liège, and I go in Corsica for my research and also for the field trip with the student.
You're a professor, you're also a researcher.
Yeah.
So you've got a long history of research. What is currently your research going on about?
It's always the same. I work on Seagrass, I work on Posidonia oceanica, meadow, and I work on the spatial, temporal variation in this ecosystem, natural variation, and variation due to the anthropogenic factors and due to the climate change.
Now that you mentioned the Posidonia oceanica, last semester that Sam and I were in Liège, we could assist your classes, Mediterranean Sea and the Posidonia oceanica classes. For the people who might not really know what's Posidonia, could you give us a short biology class?
Posidonia oceanica is a species, okay, and it's a kind of tree, little one, and this plant colonize all the bottom between the surface and the 40-meter depth, and it play the same roles of a forest. And it produce oxygen. It's a refuge for juvenile fish. It protect the coast against the erosion, against the storm. It's very important along the Mediterranean coast.
So you say that during these last years of research are similar to your current research. You've been working with similar structures, and you've been characterizing all this time Posidonia, oceanica meadows. Why is it important to have long temporal data of these meadows?
It's important, firstly, to demonstrate that the things are changing. You know, a lot of people claims that climate change do not exist. Decrease, but some people go on to say that. Another thing is to understand an ecosystem. You have to measure it, and you have to know the resilience of this system. To have the opportunity to protect it. If you don't know that, you can't give good measure to protect it.
Yes. And what would be the current state of Posidonia oceanica all of this time of study? Where would you place it?
Of the region around the Med Sea, you have a lot of city, a lot of country in where the pressure, touristic pressure, is high, and it's one on the main pressure that we have on the seagrass because of boat, because of fishing, because of city construction. Okay, and when you have this kind of pressure, the meadow disappear. But around Corsica, Corsica is more or less protected, and the meadow is healthy.
You mentioned that some of the threats that the Posidonia meadows are facing nowadays is mainly the human pressure. boats, of the anchors. Does climate change also affecting the Posidonia meadows, or?
Yes, the climate change will affect seagrass by the way of temperature and sea level rise. The temperature increase, and because this increasing, the phenomenon of flowering increase. Okay. Normally, this phenomenon was rare because seagrass need high temperature to flower more and more frequently. We can think that it's a good thing, but no, because flower they need energy, and this energy decrease year after year to produce flower. Then we know if flora will increase the biodiversity of if flora will decrease the health of the meadow. And with the sea level rise, we don't. Its process is slow, and then we don't know.
Yes, although climate change is one of the things affecting or that could affect Posidonia oceanica, there are currently anthropogenic pressures that have more weight in the degradation of these meadows. There's anchoring. What are the consequences of anchoring?
The consequence of anchoring is the same consequence if you need to you want to organize an aperitif, okay, with some friend, and you decide to do that in the middle of forest with helicopter, and you go with your friend with the helicopter, and to go in the middle of forest, you need to have a big truck that destroy the forest. You stay for 1 hour in the aperitif, and after that, everything will be destroyed. Where you go to take your aperitif. And with the anchoring is the same, okay? With an anchor, you only need 1 minute to destroy a long track into the meadow. And to reconstruct that, you need 5 minutes, okay, to destroy, but you need 1 to 2 centuries to recover the same area.
Joy for a minute is
Yeah.
over a century. And are there any regulations regarding anchoring coastal areas? Or?
Yes, but only since 3 or 4 years, in fact. Depends of the country. For example, in France, no, there is a regulation that forbidden the anchor if your boat is more than, remember well, 15 meter.
You mentioned that it takes us over a century to recover that area that we can lose in a minute. But are there ways of recovering that faster? Maybe with transplantation? And how effective is this methodology?
Yes, could be a solution, but the best solution is not destroy. Okay? I have to say that to begin. And effectively we study if we can transplant seagrass. And in fact, we do that because we know that after you have a track into the meadow, destroy place, okay? It's a kind of cicatrice into the meadow, and this cicatrice have a big difficulty to be little and little, okay? Because of the erosion, this cicatrice enlarge year after year. And we try to promote the facility of recovering by the natural meadow that is in the two sides of the cicatrice. And for example, I have a PhD student that do that since 3 years.
You explain a little bit more how to try to restore those positions.
You have different possibility. You can, first of all, you have to know that we have more or less 600 ant per square meter. Okay? You can to try the area that destroy. You can to try to plant again, but it's impossible to do that diving and to do that and to have the same density. Then you have to choose to decrease the density. You can have 100 shoot per meter, okay, but it's very difficult to do that diving. In Mediterranean Sea, you have no tide. You always have to walk, and you can do that one by one. But finally, it takes a lot of time. You need a lot of energy. It's a very slow process because you need time to transplant. You need 2 hours for 1 square meter. Okay, and you have a mixed survey every 3 months. Look if your transplant survive, etc., etc. Another way, another mean, and no, we do that with my PhD, is to try to consolidate the area that has been destroyed. And we put what people put in the garden, a kind of metallic grid, and you put big stone in it, stabilize or to win from you and other people. You know, you see what I...
Yes.
Okay. We know, we call that gabion.
Beyond.
And we put that on the bottom, and with this kind of system, the seagrass that floats has been put out in form. They float, and they can be touched or fall into this kind of structure. And after they install. We use this system because after storm we have a lot of floating shoot, and we go diving, and we collect this kind of floating shoot, and we attach this seagrass on this kind of system, and we measure the effectiveness and the speed of colonization. Because to transplant an area, you can destroy another. You have to keep that in mind.
So far, have you obtained any successful results or promising results for any of the techniques that could be applied in the future? More areas or?
Yes, when we transplant with high density, and if we survey every year, okay, what we transplant, yes, but it's a very low process, very low. And we need to survey the area.
So for these restoration techniques, you need to dive a lot. Now, I think that when we all think of a marine biologist, we imagine scientists diving and restoring Posidonia, or just exploring. And Shabby and I recently decided that we wanted to also learn how to dive, and we realized how difficult it is. Just, well, at least I'm speaking for myself here. It might have been easy for you, but it's super hard. So we're guessing that recreational diving. Well, you're professional diver. You've got lots of dives with working with Posidonia. What is it like? Is it easy? Is it fun? Or is it hard work?
For me, it's fun, but also it's hard work. But it's like everything. If you prepare everything, normally all will go good. All will.
Yeah.
The difficulty is to think to everything because water, everything go down. The difficulty is that into the water, everything go down or go up, and then you have your material, and you always have to look what's happened with your material. Another thing is that you have no GPS in water, and then you have to repair your site with something. At Starezo, it's very easy. We can go diving directly from the station, but sometimes you need a boat, and it's a lot to that. And also, you have to respect the rule for your health and the rule of diving.
Following with this question, is there any anecdote from your experiences diving with Posidonia that you'd like to maybe share?
Oh, perhaps one, but
Long ago.
yeah. Because when I was a young researcher, we have the possibility to dive along and to dive every time. Yeah? And we make 24-hour cycle, measure salinity, alkalinity, the water, and we use a bell. Okay, we put the bell on the meadow, and we do that to measure the production. And every 3 hours, we go dive and we collect water. But what you have to know is that I don't like be dark in dark.
Yes.
But you dive every 3 hour. You have to dive during the night. Have a light.
Mm.
I was alone on my little boat. Okay. I go to the buoy because the buoy means that you have a depth of 30 meters. And I go alone.
30 meters?
Yeah. To collect my water. Okay. When I arrive on the bottom, I realize that I forget something. No choice. You have to go to the go back to the side. And in my stupid brain, I imagine that a shark is waiting me for the second round to eat me. A stupid story, but
I've imagined sharks too in Castrourdiales, which is
a big shark.
Yeah. That's happened to me too.
Following what Sam mentioned before, that recreational, when you are diving for just recreation, just for fun, or
I begin with that. I decide to be an oceanographer, to try to be an oceanographer, because my dad dive, and we dive together. And then because I love water, I love that. I decide to be a marine biologist and an oceanographer. And since then, I think that I dive 10 times just for pleasure. All my dive were for work.
And when you've had the chance to dive for fun, what spots would you choose for this?
I had the chance to dive in the Red Sea, but the Red Sea was wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes I can go near the station, and there is a spot with a lot of fish and uh, Epiphenalus marginatus, là. The name in. Oh, you have to know.
Yes, we should know.
Grouper?
I remember.
And it's meadow, but
Peru, yes, in
Meadow.
the name in French, but
English.
grouper, I think. No.
grouper, yeah.
Grouper. Yes, correct. Right.
It can be very, very big.
That's what you mentioned that maybe we should know. Last semester when we were in Liège, we had the pleasure to go to, we had the chance to go to Corsica, to the Stareso Marine Station, part of the master. First thing is that, personally, and I think all of us, we got amused because of the place, but also we got a bit doubtful because the moment we arrive, we are given just a few words or concepts or species, and we just have to observe them, try to link the relationships. How did you come up with that idea of learning? Or
Yeah. I choose this way because I think if you construct everything yourself, you never forget it. And of course, I know that at the beginning you are lost, but I think that become a pleasure for you to discover everything by yourself. And I think that you learn a lot in the procedure. But I know that the beginning is more difficult. And I think that also you never do. Professor welcome you in a room and explain you all what you have to do. I do exactly the contrary.
Yeah.
Explain nothing. just a little bit.
Yes.
And at the end, you have to answer me. I think it's a good experience for you, and I think that you learn a lot. But perhaps I'm wrong.
I'll give some feedback myself. And actually, coincidentally, I was speaking to a friend yesterday about the concept of university and how he told me that it was created by Alexander the Great, and that initially the idea of that was a place where people could discuss and where there was also experts. And the experts would help in the discussion but would let people do their thing. That is exactly what happened to us in Corsica. We were completely free to investigate, to find out about everything, and that was an absolute pleasure. And also having the aid of the researchers. We won't spoil much more if there's anybody listening who will be going in the future. We obviously didn't learn about the grouper because we didn't see any. But from these lists you created of words, there's a lot of species in them. And what we want to know is, apart from Posidonia oceanica, what is Sylvie's favorite species?
Not marine mammals.
Not
Sorry.
No problem.
your friend
Krishna.
Krishna
Yeah.
Might not agree with this. Krishna Das, yeah.
Probably, but I don't remember the Latin name. Seahorse.
Seahorses, yeah. Well, there's loads of species of seahorses, I guess. Good answer. I reckon you've seen them in the water, maybe?
Yes, but since a long time,
any species not that you don't like, but you wouldn't like to see in the Mediterranean?
Shark.
and
the invasive species or
human.
Honestly, that is a good answer. humans with yachts.
It's too hard because we work together. Students are human. I am a human. Then
Following with the studies of marine station, we already mentioned that the views and the location is fantastic. So how do you do focus when you are there?
because I like my job. Passion for me, it's not hard to focus to work.
Well, Metsi is fantastic. Corsica is fantastic.
I am fantastic.
You are fantastic. But in terms of biology, what does it make it so fantastic? Metsi.
The place of the Med Sea around the world. You mean?
Yeah.
That's the. No, but not bad. The Med Sea is a wonderful place to learn marine biology and oceanography. It's a little one. Okay, it's a little place, but the topography of the Med Sea promote the fact that the residence time into the Med Sea is very short. And then what we observe, what we look into the Med Sea will arrive probably in 50 to 1 century the rest of the world. And it is why it's so interesting to learn about this sea, because it's a model of the global ocean.
We are coming to the end of the interview, but before we finish some questions, do you have the chance to work with many researchers, even students or PhD students? What do you think that is the most important trait as a scientist?
Seen it.
And what advice, tips can you give us in our professional careers? Part of being passionate, obviously, that's a trait, but what tip could you give us?
Be what you are. Don't try to always make the good choice. Choose what you want. It's passion, but often students ask me, "What do you think? It's better for me to do that or to do that?" I have no answer. You have to choose what you feel, not considering money or something like this.
Well, we've come to the end of the interview. It's been an absolute pleasure having you over. I think we've all learned a little bit more about a bit of your life, a bit of your research, and especially about Posidonia oceanica. Well, we knew a lot of this already, but we wanted to share it with everyone. And we hope you've enjoyed the experience. And we hope to hear from you in the future.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
For it.